it's Shay from Shay's Kitchen. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. So today we are talking about the 30-day keto way challenge that Gia over at Marriage and Motherhood has going on. So I decided at the very last minute to actually take part in this challenge, but I'm doing just a little modified version. So instead of doing keto, I've chosen to do low carb. And those are not the same thing, just in case you are wondering. Just for a very quick disclaimer, keto is more fat-based. It's high fat, low protein, and obviously low carbs. Versus low carb, which is essentially you're just watching your carb count and not necessarily high protein. You're just trying to decrease the amount of carbs overall in your diet. And obviously there's a clean version for each, and I am choosing to stick to the clean version. So along with what's for dinner this week, because I do want to share with you all the meals that I ate over the last week, dinner as well as my lunches and my breakfast. I wanted to also share with you all my weight loss for the week as well. Before we talk about the weight loss, let's just go ahead and jump into the meals and what I had for dinner overall for the week. So the keto bagels are formed and ready to pop in the oven. Now this is my second time doing them. I did them last week and they were really, really easy for my breakfast. But with this being my second time, I do have some tips if you guys are watching this and you're doing it for the first time. So last week I did knead it by hand, and this week I just used my, I'll show you over here. It's a mess, but still. My little mini dough processor that goes on top of my Ninja here. And this was by far the easiest way to do it. You do have to be present. You can't just push on and just let it go and it's going to come together. You do have to watch it and scrape down the cheese, because it'll form around the center console or the blade. And do remember to put the dough blade in as opposed to the regular blade. But the cheese does wrap around the blade, so you have to pull that down and continuously make sure that it is mixing well. But once it does mix well, it will be uniform. There won't be any chunks of cheese in it. And then you want to just get it out using a spatula or something. Then put it in a bowl, and I do recommend maybe just coating the bowl with some Pam, avocado oil, or a neutral oil. I mean, if you have just coconut oil, I'm sure that would work. But you want to put it in, and you want to put a little bit on your hands as well and get it into a ball. The dough is very, very sticky, much more stickier than it was when I kneaded it by hand last week. So you do want to refrigerate it for about 25 to 30 minutes when you're using it, when you're using the processor to do it. That is the number one tip that I can tell you to do. And then it is a lot easier to roll out and to handle once it's been chilled and cool. So just take your time. It's definitely worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these in. They do bake at 400 degrees for, I want to say 15 minutes, but I'll double check and leave that below. And actually, I'll just link the actual recipe down below because this isn't my recipe either. So here's what the bagels look like when you pull them out of the oven. They're absolutely delicious and very filling. So I definitely recommend that you give these a try. Now I just want to share with you guys, I'm grilling today. So today is Sunday, and this meat will actually be the basis of our dinner for today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. So I just wanted to share that with you all. So I have sauteed up the chicken breast, and now I'm moving on to the veggies. I'm just going to throw these three items into the skillet and cook them until the onions are translucent. So got those in here and just season it a little bit with just a pinch of salt. And we're just going to keep going with this until those onions are translucent. So I just turned the heat down. The onions are translucent. I'm just going to add about a cup of chicken broth, which is about that much. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm sorry, I can't even speak. And I'm going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to add my cream and move on to the next steps. So the chicken broth has been cooking for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add about a half, that's probably a little bit more than a half of a cup of cream. It's supposed to be half and half, but I always use what I have on hand. And what I have on hand was some heavy cream. So to this, have my little notebook here with my instructions down. So to this, I'm supposed to add lime juice, Italian seasoning, red peppers, and cilantro. So what I'm going to do is add the cilantro, and I might taste it and see if it needs more lime juice, because I already put some lime juice over the chicken when I was seasoning it. And yeah, and I'm gonna taste it because I like to season my things as I go. So my layers, I'm gonna taste it to see how salty it is, and I may or may not put in 1.5 teaspoons. So it will likely be less than that if I feel like it's too salty. But let's see how this turns out. All right, guys, so I am finished up here. I'm just going to let it thicken a little bit more. And basically what I did is I added about a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. I added a squeeze of lemon juice, a half of a lemon, not lemon, half of a lime. And what else did I put? And I chopped up the cilantro and I put it in, and it's basically just simmering. I have my egg noodles in the back here. This is for the kids, so I'm going to serve this over the egg noodles and along with roasted broccoli, because that's just the fastest thing that I can get done. I've already eaten today. I did not capture that. I forgot. I was in a rush. Had to eat before we left to go to the park with the kids. But again, I just had, no, I actually did not have leftover, barbecue. I had a keto bagel with some cream cheese, just a little bit of cream cheese on the top. And I had oh my goodness, I can't remember. I had a half of a pork chop. The other half of the pork chop I didn't eat for lunch. I had a keto bagel with a little bit of cream cheese on the top, and I had a cluster, one of those coconut cluster seed things, super seed things, and it was absolutely delicious. And I add that at about 6:15. So I haven't eaten, and I probably won't eat again until tomorrow morning. Late tomorrow morning. Here's a quick glance of what it looked like the next day when I had it for my dinner. So guys, I'm making the marinade for my shrimp. Here it is. So in here we have the cilantro, the basil leaves. I put 2 scallions or green onions in, 2 garlic cloves, some olive oil, lemon juice, lime juice, salt, pepper, and now I'm just going to go ahead and pulse this. Let's look and see what this looks like. Ugh. So, to me, it looks like it needs a little bit more pulsing. So I'm just gonna wipe it down. So I think this is as good as it's going to get. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this over my shrimp and let it marinate for 30 minutes. All right, so this is the marinated shrimp. We're going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and let it marinate for 30 minutes before I go ahead and cook it. My dinner today is that cilantro garlic chicken that I showed in my meal prep. I just have some butter and some olive oil that I've melted in the cast iron skillet, and I'm just gonna put these in here, um, cook them until they're pink on both sides. It's probably about 2 to 3 minutes each side at the most, and then I'm just going to put it over a bed of spinach with a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil, and that's going to be my dinner tonight. So I dumped all of the shrimp and the contents of the marinade in the skillet, and I'm cooking it. And I actually think I might use that as the reserve or the basis for my salad dressing for my spinach. But these are ready to flip, so I'm just going to go through and flip these and prep my plate. All right, so here's the finished product. This is dinner tonight. I did end up squeezing a little bit of the lemon juice, and I drizzled just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and that's it. That is gonna be it, and I'll have this to eat tomorrow. Now that you've seen my meals that I ate, I'm guessing you're wondering, how did I do with my weight loss? So I will get to that and I will tell you that. But first, I want to just explain to you what I did for the most part for the week. A very large part of keto, I don't want to say a large part, but part of a keto diet is intermittent fasting if you want to get to ketosis quickly. And that actually is good overall when trying to lose weight or just trying to minimize the amount of food that you're intaking and giving your body a rest or your digestive system a rest. So I did incorporate intermittent fasting with my diet. And basically, I ate about 2 to 2.5 meals between the hours of 9 and 7 p.m. Now, that doesn't mean I always ate at 9, but for the most part, well, yes, for the first week, today's Sunday, Father's Day, so I'm in another week. But for the first week, I did not eat after 7, and sometimes I ate way before 7 at like 6 o'clock, just depending on how hungry I was and when I was actually going to be getting back into the house from extracurricular activities with my kids. So for the most part, my window started at 9 a.m. and it closed at 7 p.m. I would typically eat around 9:30, and that would be my breakfast. And you guys saw what I had for breakfast, but that would really carry me far until the late afternoon, usually about 2 to 2:30, and then that's when I would have my lunch, if I even ate lunch at work. I would supplement with like an iced coffee because I have like a low carb version of a creamer that I can use. So I was able to use that for my iced coffee and just a no sugar nut milk, and I chose almond milk. And then when I got home, I would try to push that last meal until about 5:45 or 6 o'clock, because a lot of the evenings I would have to be at the field or at the park with my kids, and by the time we would get back, it would be obviously after 7 o'clock. So the mindset is get as close to 7 as possible so that can take me well into the evening so I would not be hungry. So that's basically what I did for the most part. I just did the intermittent fasting, and I did low carb meals 2 to 3 times a day, roughly about 2.5 times. My snacks were nuts. I had cashews. You can use any nut, but I chose cashews because that's what I had on hand. I didn't want to go buy any additional nuts. One thing I did find that I like to snack on is a veggie. I had Brussels sprouts in the refrigerator. And so what I would do is I would just saute those up really quickly on the stove, add a little Parmesan cheese, and drizzle just a little bit of balsamic vinegar. And those were actually really filling because you can't eat them really, really fast. And they obviously will hold you because of the fiber and stuff that's in them. So that's just one quick note. So I will stop rambling now. And my weight loss from Saturday to Saturday, because I weighed myself Saturday, I didn't weigh myself Monday again. When I started, I lost roughly about 3 pounds. So I will take it. That's really, really good. I don't know how much of that is just water weight or how much of that is actually from just exercising 3 times a week. Oh yeah, I did that too. I walked an hour 3 times a week at the park when my kids were at the park. And then obviously I'm just watching what I eat. So we'll see how this week is going to go. I have my meals prepped already. I have my keto bread and bagels prepped already for the next week. But I will save that for next week's video. Just a little teaser as to what's coming up. But let me know how you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave any comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload a video. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. My handle there is Shay's Country Kitchen. Until next time, I hope to see you guys soon.